Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. I am so sorry for our technical delay. Technology just was not on our side this morning, but we're here. I'm Samantha Storms, part of the BLM Fire communications team here at the National Interagency Fire Center in Boise, Idaho, and we are thrilled to have you joining us today to learn more about the BLM Fire program and to be a part of our first ever hiring webinar. For those of you who are not familiar with the Bureau of Land Management Fire program, we are the largest and most complex program within the Department of the Interior. And alongside our many partners, both federal, state, tribal, and local, we are responsible for over 650 million acres of fire protection, predominantly in the Western United States and Alaska. We have an exciting lineup for you of subject matter experts and human resource professionals to give you a brief overview, not only about our program, but to helpfully answer some of your questions. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat as we go throughout these presentations, and then we'll have live Q&A segments after each presentation. Concluding this webinar, we will post the recording of this and any additional resources that are mentioned. And without further ado, I'd like to start off with our subject matter expert presentations and send it to Ernest to talk about our engines.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ernest Sedisha. I'm an engine captain for the Bureau of Land Management here in Southern California on the California Desert District. I've been an engine captain for the BLM for 3 years now. In total, I just finished my 19th fire season. So an engine is a primary first responder to any wildland fire that we get on our BLM lands. So we are initially one of the first to get called. So along with that, we usually typically get first year people that apply where we were able to teach them and train them their basic firefighter skills before they move on to any other area that they would like to pursue, either a hotshot crew, Helitack crew, or smoke jumping. So the engine program is primarily where people get their hands-on experience and get a grasp of becoming a wildland firefighter before they move on to other specialized areas. So as an engine crew, we work on different types of fire engines. Here in Southern California, we have bigger Type 3 fire trucks to pump the high mountain areas. We have Type 6 fire trucks, which are smaller pickups in the western area of the United States that require less water. So there are different types of fire engines in the Bureau of Land Management. It depends on what part of the country you are in. So we are a national resource also, so we travel throughout the western United States with our fire engines, and we provide wildland fire responses wherever we may be called up to. Typically on a fire engine, we have between 3 to 5 people, so we work a lot with each other and we rely on each other a lot through hands-on on the fire or at the fire station, working together with projects around the fire station. We do a lot of team building skills with each other. We, again, build on to that hands-on initial firefighter skills that we all work together and create a cohesive small unit. So that is typically what a fire engine module does. We use water. If not, we go hike into these small fires, lightning fires. But our primary job is to respond to wildland fires initially using our water. So that's what an engine module does. And if you're interested, I would highly look up a BLM fire station and visit their engine crews there and talk to them and see how they would like you to apply and just to put a face with the name. And for now, I'm going to pass it on to Steve. He's going to talk about hand crews.
All right, thanks, Ernest. Hoping everybody can hear. Also had some technological difficulties. Really good overview there about our engine crews, and I'm going to build a little bit off that about our hand crew program with BLM. So we're fortunate in the BLM to have 2 types of hand crews. We have interagency hotshot crews. We have 13 of those crews spread throughout the West. And then we have one strategically placed in Jackson, Mississippi. And then in addition to the interagency hotshot crews, BLM also has a very robust veteran hand crew program. The veteran hand crew program is generally focused on the hiring and the recruitment of returning and veterans that have served our country. Two of those veteran hand crews that we have are interagency hotshot crews, so that's a super unique piece for BLM. One of those veteran hand crews is located in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and that's the Lakeview hand crew. That one gets a little confusing name-wise, and the second one is located in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and the name of that crew is the Aravipa interagency hotshot crew. So who are we looking for our interagency hotshot crew program and our veterans crew programs? Generally, for the interagency hotshot crews, we are looking for firefighters that have some experience. We can hire a certain percentage of brand new firefighters, brand new to the fire service, but that's limited to 3 or 4 crew members a year. And so generally the interagency hotshot crews are looking for firefighters that maybe come off the engine crews like Ernest talked about, but generally looking for established or experienced firefighters. That's not always the case. There could be an opportunity, but generally experienced firefighters. For the veteran hand crews, their standards are a little bit different, and they can hire fresh first-year firefighters. And again, we're really looking for the veterans, folks that have been out and have those life skills, have the skills of leadership, have some of those skills of already understanding what it is to work in a collaborative fashion with 20 other people, and make great additions. I think later in the broadcast, there's going to be some avenues to talk about how to find contacts. There's a really robust webpage for all the hand crew programs, and that's a great place to go for more information. There's crew contacts on there. There's all the crew superintendents. And really my advice to you as a first-year crew member or somebody looking to get on a hand crew is you have to sell yourself. Your resume needs to be super fit, super good. And then you have to do the legwork of making phone calls, reaching out to the crews and the locations where you want to work. Give those superintendents a call, let them know your skills, your abilities, why you want to work there, and make sure they understand your name. They get a lot of applications each year. We always wish we'd get more applications, but it's a great opportunity for you to call, to go visit, to talk about your fitness, to talk about the things that you love about the outdoors, and the reasons why you'd be a great fit. So I really encourage you, if there's a crew in a location you want to work for, please reach out directly to that crew, and that'll help your chances as far as becoming an future employee of those crews. I think that's my time frame. So as far as interagency hotshot crews and our veteran hand crew program, I'm going to turn that for the next presenter to Amy.
Alrighty, hey there everyone. So my name is Amy Lancaster. I work at an interagency dispatch center here in Eastern Montana. What is an interagency dispatch center? It's a lot of fun. It's a great job. It's one of those jobs that when you walk into the office, you don't know what the day is going to bring for you. It depends on if we're going to get wildland fire activity, whether that be human caused or naturally caused by lightning or by some other means. So for our dispatch center, when I say interagency, all of our centers across the nation are staffed with multiple agency employees. So of course, we're focused here on the Bureau of Land Management right now, but we also have counterparts from our state and federal partners, including tribal offices as well. So when you come into an interagency dispatch center, you're working with all of the other entities that are part of our Wildland Fire organization. A dispatch center, what does that look like? A dispatch center here locally, we have 8 employees, and we also, dispatch centers are also up to 20 plus people. So it's really interesting when you go across the landscape of dispatch centers as to the dynamic and the diversity that comes within our offices. Dispatch centers as well, we are the heart of the communication for all of our wildland fire resources. Who we're talking to as dispatchers, we're not only talking to the firefighters or the boots on the ground, but we're also talking to our aviation assets that are up in the air, including some of our fire management officers. So to be a dispatcher, you need excellent communication skills, verbally and written. That's one thing that if you are creating a resume to be a wildland fire dispatch, you really want to focus on those things. Everything that we do in the dispatch office is through our digital media, whether we are working in web-based applications, typing skills are key. So it's just one of those things that when you are building your resume, if those are some of those things you can focus on. How did I get into this job? It actually turned out to be a super cool summer job when I was a college student. And so I would come here, work 3 months out of the year, go back to college, had some great change in my pocket so I could afford my lifestyle of being a college student and focusing on my education while not really having to worry about those financial means. But once I got done with college, it was one of those things that what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I turned into a center manager here at the Bureau of Land Management in Eastern Montana. So there's definitely some career paths that are worth noting. And we have dispatch centers all over the nation, including Alaska. So the world is your oyster, really, when you want to be a dispatcher and figure out where you want to go in life and where you want to be. Another positive is that we do get to do a lot of trainings, on-the-job trainings, and we get to go on fire assignments. So we can pick and choose where we want to go, even throughout the year. And so if you want to go to the Southwest for, a 14 or 21-day assignment, that's an opportunity to go and meet your peers in a different state. So again, we're focusing on some resume building here later in the segment. So if you do have any questions, again, don't hesitate to stop at any of our dispatch offices. It's great to have a face to a name, especially when we see our applicants. So that's what I have for our dispatch organizations, and I will pass it off to James for fuels.
Thanks, Sam, and thank you, Amy. Hello, my name is James Newman, and I'm a fire planner working in California. I've been working the fire program for about 20 years in many of the positions that we've already covered, and in several more we'll cover later today. I'm going to provide a quick overview of what hazard fuels reduction, community assistance, and prevention are and the jobs associated implementing those within the BLM Fire program. In many positions within BLM, you have an opportunity to implement fuels reduction activities, including burning, thinning, pruning, and chipping to reduce the amount and continuity of burnable vegetation. Other methods you may be involved with include chemical and biological methods like herbicides and cattle or goat grazing. These fuels reduction treatments are created to disrupt the potential for a wildfire to ignite and spread and intensify. One of the most efficient but risky methods is prescribed burning, which is a fire deliberately started to reduce potential for ignitions on wildfires or reduce severity of future fires. So a lot of positions that you may be involved with, you'll have the opportunity to conduct that in multiple areas. Another component of the fire program you may be involved with is community assistance, mitigation, education. The work here focuses more on assisting our communities that live in or recreate on areas that have a high risk of wildfires, out in our BLM public lands and in wildland urban interface areas, commonly referred to as WUI. The focus here is to help these communities and homeowners understand the environment they live in and how wildfires can start and impact them. Some examples of this involve education during local fairs and classroom teachings at schools, or attending recreation events and educating our public on possible fire ignition causes like unattended campfires, or even parking in grassy areas, just to name a few. Last component I want to cover is fire prevention activities. This includes things like prevention patrols that drive around on public lands looking for wildfire starts from lightning events to public activities like target shooting and camping. The other side of prevention is folks, if you have an interest, that staff and live in or work at our lookouts during the summer to detect wildfire ignitions before they start to grow too large. So the jobs you'd be looking at if you're interested in any of this type of work ranges from entry-level firefighter positions that work on crews and engines, or to task-specific positions like fuels technicians, prevention technicians, and mitigation education technicians. For the entry-level firefighters, many of these folks will assist with this type of work, usually during the spring and the fall periods when there's little to no fire activity to help us implement fuels reduction work instead of waiting in their stations. The prevention and community assistance work is usually year-round, but the majority of the work is during the summer at local city and county fairs and recreation events, or patrolling our public lands. So just know that you don't need to have a background in this type of work, as we will teach you on the job if you apply for these entry-level positions anywhere in the program. You'll have exposure to a lot of different facets within the fire program. And then even if for positions that you apply outside of fire, there's definitely opportunities to come into the fire program part-time to help us out either on this type of work or like other folks that talked about on wildfire. So thank you for your interest. And next, I'm going to give it to Melissa covering aviation related to air bases. Melissa?
Thanks,
And
James.
Melissa, you're live.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, James. I'm glad you're all here today. My name is Melissa Chard. I'm a single engine air tanker base manager out of Elko, Nevada. I've been working for the Bureau of Land Management for a little over 10 years. I started as a student in a program with the BLM and became a fire seasonal as an air tanker base technician and worked my way into a permanent position managing the tanker base for 5 years now. I manage wildland fire, fixed wing wildland fire aircraft that drop fire retardant to help suppress wildland fires and support the firefighters on the ground. Long-term fire retardants contain retardant salts, typically fertilizers that alter the way a fire burns, decreasing the fire intensity and slowing the advance of a fire. The BLM has 8 large air tanker bases and around 20 single-engine air tanker bases throughout Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Montana, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and Wyoming. This allows for a lot of job opportunities in many other states. We work with multiple types of fixed-wing aircraft, anything from a single-engine air tanker, Air Tractor 802, which holds 800 gallons of retardant, all the way to DC-10s that hold up to 9,000 gallons of retardant. We even work with C-130s through the military. At air bases, we also work with air attack planes, helicopters, and other visiting aviation resources that come to support wildland fires. There are many different entry-level positions you can do when working at an air base. One is being a fixed-wing parking tender. A fixed-wing parking tender will move aircraft using Federal Aviation Administration regulated hand signals. We use hand signals to communicate to the pilots and direct them where we need them for operations. Another great position you can do without any prior experience is an aircraft timekeeper. This position requires multitasking skills, entering aircraft times, gallons of retardant, and data entry. Another position that does not require prior experience is a retardant crew member. This position is needed to hook up and unhook the hoses used for loading retardant. In all positions, you will learn about the types of aircraft you are working with, their capabilities, aircraft safety, camaraderie with your crew, and most of all, the fulfillment knowing you're a big part of success in suppressing wildland fires. The positions I mentioned will be all on-the-job training, therefore not requiring prior skills. Most entry-level fixed-wing fire aviation positions are not fitness-based, so there's no need for a fitness test for you to qualify. And most air tanker bases allow you to wear shorts. I mean, that's a perk. Air tanker bases provide many opportunities to grow within the aviation program, as well as branch out and support many other air tanker bases throughout the fire season. With qualified skills listed above that I mentioned, you will have opportunities to help out at all air tanker bases, as well as many of the 34 U.S. Forest Service and multiple state bases throughout the states. As with all fire and aviation programs, we are a close-knit community that is here to support the wildland fire program as a whole. Thank you, and I hope you guys reach out to learn more about wildland fire aviation. I know I've enjoyed my career so far. I will now hand it over to Kurt McDonald, who will chat about helicopters and air attack.
Good afternoon. My name is Kurt McDonald. I have 24 years in fire, all with the BLM, and 18 of those are in aviation. I started out on engines, worked on the hotshot crew and Helitack crews. I spent the last 15 seasons working my way up to a crew supervisor for the Twin Falls Helitack crew in Idaho. And my current position is an air tactical group supervisor for the Idaho State Office. And I was asked to talk about BLM aviation, specifically Helitack, and just a touch on aircraft. So the BLM mission for aviation to me is aggressive initial attack. And the way we do that is by a variety of resources: Helitack, Smokejumpers, air attack, and tankers. And they're spread out all across the Western United States in strategic areas so that we have a close flight time to anywhere we go. So what is a Helitack crew? A Helitack crew is just aerial delivered firefighters with a helicopter. Initial attack, extended attack, we get there first. We have to get on the ground and work just like everybody else. So who are Helitack crews working for, are looking for? Independent thinking, self-motivated, physically fit employees who conduct themselves professionally in all circumstances. Right now there's BLM Helitack crews in California, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Arizona, and up in Alaska too. The BLM doesn't own helicopters, they contract them out. That's always a question we get. And So with helicopters, it allows us they fly fast, so we can be in Idaho 1 minute, and in 3 hours, 4 hours, we'd be all the way in Arizona. So most of us are national resources where we can go anywhere. Alaska, California, Florida, I've been to all of them. And the BLM has 3 types of helicopters with Helitack crews attached to them. Type 3s are the smallest helicopters. They fly up to 4 people. And a Type 3 staffing Helitack crew looks like 8 to 12 people, 4 to 6 career seasonals or PFT positions. A medium helicopter, Type 2, they usually fly around 8 people. The crews 14 to 18 people with 5 to 7 career seasonals and PFT positions. And the BLM actually has the only Type 1 helicopter that has a crew attached to it, and they fly up to 12 people, and they have up to 20 to 26 people, 8 to 10 career seasonals and PFT positions, and that crew is located in Boise, Idaho. And when I'm talking about career seasonals, I'm talking about 6 months guaranteed. You're starting to get benefits and retirement and all that type of stuff. So specifically to Helitack, you have to have 90 days in order to qualify for a Helitack crew. So unfortunately, if you're a very first year firefighter, you got to spend time on an engine or a hand crew to get your 90 days in before you can qualify for a Helitack crew. And we just don't want to be teaching fire and aviation at the same time for safety reasons. Help yourself get hired. Like Steve Shaw mentioned, start calling now. That's one thing that always separates yourself, is getting on, a side list or whatever. Last year I had 200 people apply for our crew. So the people that call you, definitely, you look at them as well as everybody else. Have some good, thoughtful questions for the person you're calling. Just don't ask, how many hours of overtime you get. Do a little bit of research, and if you live close, like Steve said, stop by, say hi, go PT, sell yourself. There's a lot of people. If you like flying helicopter, you fly in a helicopter a lot. It's not just, for a couple minutes of fire season. You get hours and hours and hours of flying in helicopters in amazing areas where you just don't get to see in a normal job. And if you like a team environment, it's perfect for that. Also, the BLM, if you're already a pilot, BLM has a pilot mentoring program that will help you through that too. So how do you apply for a job? USA Jobs. Right now, the cert just opened for the Helitack. It opened on October 17th, it closes November 15th. There's a GS4 and a GS5 cert, a GS6 and a GS7 cert. So apply for those. And if you're new to fire, I would recommend doing the USA Jobs resume builder, because it gives you all the information needed so you don't forget something and not qualify. But if you've been around for a few years, spend some time on your resume, build your own, make it professional, have someone look at it, and that way you separate yourself one more time with a professional looking resume. And a quick note on air attack. So air attack isn't an entry-level position, but it's something you can work up to. We're usually co-located at the tanker bases, like Melissa talked about. Alaska, Colorado, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah all have air attack platforms. And what we do is we provide aerial supervision to the air resources on the fire and coordinate tankers, helicopters, smoke jumpers, and drones. And that's all I have. I'm going to send it up to Jeff Kramer in Alaska with the BLM smoke jumpers.
Thanks, Kurt. Good morning. I'm Jeff Kramer with the Alaska Jumpers. For those of you that don't know, smoke jumpers are initial attack firefighters, and we utilize parachutes to get to wildfires. We travel all over the country, providing highly trained, experienced firefighters and leadership for quick initial attack on fires. For starters, smoke jumping is not an entry-level job. I had several years on a hotshot crew before I applied to jump, and that's typical. I only planned on fighting fire for a few years to pay for school, like a lot of folks here, but I found myself 20 years later still jumping fires. The reason I'm still jumping are the same reasons I think you should consider it. You get to work with some of the most intelligent, hardworking people out there. You get a parachute into some of the most remote and beautiful places in our country and do hard, meaningful work. It's great. The siren goes off and in 2 minutes you're fully suited. In 6 minutes, the plane is on the way. You never know where you're going. The fire could be close in or several hundred miles away. You never know if it's going to be a simple fire in the wilderness where you're just running a chainsaw, digging line, or it could be an urban interface fire where you hit the ground and you're all of a sudden managing hundreds of people, evacuating homes, all that stuff. If you're new to fire, I highly recommend you look at some of these entry-level positions on the engines and crews. You work hard and you learn, because I can't imagine a better job than jumping. If you have any questions at all, feel free to visit our website or contact me directly. That's all I got for now. From here, I'll pass it off to Justin.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Justin Lammers. I'm a fire equipment specialist with the Bureau of Land Management, and I work in Boise, Idaho at the National Interagency Fire Center. My current job is we do the acquisition of fire equipment for the Bureau of Land Management. So pretty much anything with lights and a stripe comes through this shop, and we write specifications and work with the individuals, companies, to upfit and produce our fire equipment for use in the field. I'm here to talk about our heavy equipment and water tenders today. I've worked for the Bureau of Land Management for 19 years on various areas, mostly all operational engines. I started on engines, worked on hotshot crews, worked with heavy equipment, really got to see a lot of different pieces of equipment and how they operate. Which kind of made a good transition into the position that I'm in now. Currently in the Bureau of Land Management, we have 22 water tenders in the fleet. Our newest generation of truck is a Freightliner chassis with a 3,000 gallon tank, 500 gallon pump, 500 gallon per minute pump. This truck is typically utilized in a support role when we go to fires and respond as first resources or initial attack out to these fires. Typically in our environment, we are several miles away from water. So these water tenders, they provide our crews a short turnaround time from actually being on the fire to back to refill to respond back to the edge of the fire to continue putting it out. So it's more of an entry-level position. You need to have a Class B CDL with a tanked vehicle endorsement. We have 24 BLM Fire dozers in the fleet. It's typically a Caterpillar D6 is our standard platform. We are starting to integrate some D5 Fire dozers, which is a specific design dozer package from Caterpillar that has specialty screens and rollover protection and safety features integrated into it to make it a more effective platform for what we do. Our dozer modules are typically an operator and a swamper. Sometimes the swamper operates the equipment as well. I would say if you're interested in the equipment side, such as dozers, your local BLM district, get into contact with them and see if they have those pieces of equipment, and then look at those entry-level positions such as engines and water tenders and hand crews, and get in and then express interest in cross-training over to the dozer platforms or a water tender.
Thank you so much, Justin, and to all of our subject matter experts. I wasn't lying when I said we truly have a wealth of knowledge on this SME panel, and I'm thankful for all of their participation today. Also thankful that we've had willing participants from the audience to have pivoted with us to send questions via social media, and I'd like to answer some of those questions for all of you that have come in via Instagram primarily, and give our subject matter experts a chance to respond. So the first one I'm going to ask is to Melissa, and we had a question come in via Instagram asking what sort of skills do we look for in the fire aviation field specifically?
Skills, I would say a lot that I'm looking for. I want somebody that's going to pay attention to safety, small details, Again, as an entry-level position, it only requires 6 months of work experience. Doesn't have to be anything specific. Again, we're not physical based for entry-level positions. However, we're going to be standing for long, irregular hours outside in the sun. I've been on ramps at tanker bases where it's like 113 degrees outside. So you got to consider you're going to be standing in the heat. Again, like Kurt said, use the resume builder on there. What other skills am I looking for? I just want somebody that's going to want to learn, continue to learn and grow. And that's about all I got. And I would say I'm looking for somebody that's willing to learn as much as possible when it comes to tankers, because you're moving multi-million-dollar aircraft. I mean, even a single engine air tanker is worth a couple $1,000,000. So.
All right, Jeff, the question that came in for you was, as smoke jumpers, what safety concerns and practices are present? How does one parachute with a chainsaw?
Well, I mean, to start off, everything we do is about safety. The perception of our job is that it's dangerous. It's not. It's a really safe job. And we, before I go out the door, I check my own gear. It's checked twice more by other people. And yeah, just really intensive on the safety side. So that's really not much of a concern. As far as like how you safely do it with the chainsaw, well, we don't. All our tools, chainsaws, pumps, saws, Pulaskis, food, sleeping bags, everything else is kicked paracargo. So we all jump out, get safely in the landing zone, and then they come back with the jump ship and they kick out all of that stuff for us in boxes. Hope that answered your question.
All right, Steve, this one came in via Instagram from Jacob, and he wants to know what's the best way to get on a hand crew at 18. He's very interested and wants to make a career out of wildland firefighting, but looking for some goals or looking for some assistance to help him meet those goals.
Okay, great question. So getting on there at 18, so it's like I mentioned, it's certainly not impossible. First of all, I think the real key is figuring out which place you might want to work. So between our 19 or 20 crews that are spread across the country, a great first step is to really identify maybe the places where you want to work. Through the application process, you can select up to 7 locations once you're in DUI Fires and USA Jobs, once you're working through that process. So you can kind of pick up to 7 of those locations. A great first step, like I mentioned, once you kind of choose those 7 locations, is to pick find the contacts for those supervisors and reach out to them. Once you've done that, another one is to just be someone who enjoys and understands and has a lifestyle that's maybe based around physical fitness. So physical fitness on our hand crews is key. The days and the shifts are long and hard, and physical fitness is what keeps folks safe and what keeps folks happy and healthy. So being a fit individual, just kind of having a lifestyle that works around fitness is a great place to make sure you start. So when you're talking to that crew superintendent, you can kind of talk about your fitness routine and kind of talk about the things you like to do to stay in shape. We're not looking for necessarily world-class athletes. You don't have to be the top, the muscle man or the muscle woman or be able to run a 5-minute mile. Just general good health and good general fitness is a great place to be. Another good place that kind of puts you out as far as first year tips is to just do a little bit of background of understanding about what the hand crew is and what the hand crew brings. I think when you ask questions, it's easier to ask questions when you generally have some background on what the crews might be. That goes with long assignments. That comes with some understanding of the possibility of being away from home for potentially a long amount of time, potentially up to 2 weeks at a time on 2-week assignments as you go off units, and just some understanding. So when you ask those questions to that crew superintendent, you can ask things about housing, and you can ask things about pay, and you can ask things about days off, and you can ask things that might better fit in with your lifestyle. I think another good piece I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up an email address and a phone number for folks, and that's going to be just my email address and phone number. We have lots of contact information but I do think it's a little bit challenging as a first year applying. So I'm going to hold this up. You're all welcome to cancel or copy down my email and my work phone number, and I'd be happy to help folks do any navigation or just answer questions. But I can also help direct you to a better person, more educated on specific crews, if you have other questions.
Hayden sent this in via Instagram, and he's wondering, what is the most common entry-level job within the BLM Fire program?
Hi, Hayden. Well, the most common entry-level job is what we call a GS3, entry-level wildland firefighter, and primarily those positions typically apply to a fire engine crew. And that's, again, where I was talking about earlier. Typically, engine crews hire first-year seasonals is what we call them. And that is where you get your on-the-job training, and that's where we build on your skills. And from there, once you build skills and you feel comfortable, you want to explore and go out and join a hand crew, a hotshot crew. Typically, a lot of those crews are more specialized, and you need a little bit more experience, typically 1 to 2 years, or seasons, fire seasons, about 6 months, where you generally build your skills and your knowledge up. And then from there, you can apply out to more specialized entities like the helicopter crew or Helitack. You work at the aviation, work on a hotshot crew once you build those skills up. But most primarily entry level is on an engine crew. Back to you.
Thank you again for the folks being very active on Instagram. It's great to hear from all of you. James, someone wants to know, what sort of degrees are important for those looking to join fire organizations? And do we look for undergrad degrees, graduate degrees, or is there specific degrees we're looking for specific positions?
All right, thank you, Sam. So to answer that question, for the entry-level position, no degree is required, because you're coming in with very little knowledge and we'll be teaching you. If you're looking at moving up in the organization into management or middle management positions, it depends on what your career goals are. So I would recommend getting to know the fire program, talking to those folks that of where they've gone and the degrees they have. But what I'd recommend if you're starting is look at the community colleges around your area. They usually have a general fire management degree that actually gives you the opportunity to, at times, to be on a crew, on a call when needed crew for some of the fires we're dealing with. If you're looking at more undergrad degrees, you're looking at usually in the resources realms, but there are some with fire specifics like fire ecology, again, fire management. On the resources side, anything from wildlife management to forestry, or just a general natural resources degree. But what you really want to focus on is those degrees that provide you the background for writing and critical thinking as you move up into those management level. And there's a lot of rationale for that. But again, take a look at where you want to go, talk to those folks if you're starting the program, and talk to those supervisors or upper level management and find out what they require. So currently, the reason I'm kind of giving a little ambiguous answer is potential for a new fire series that has different educational requirements than what we currently have within the program. So again, things might be changing. So get to know the folks in those programs you're interested in, like the rest have said. Talk to those fire stations, go where the crews are, look at the jumper bases, just ask questions, and those folks can walk you through what's needed. And then again, later on with the HR side, a lot of that's going to be covered too. All right, Sam, anything else?
Thanks so much, James. That's great. I'm actually going to kick it to Vanessa now so we can move into our human resources and benefits section.
All right, thank you, Sam. All right, good day, everybody. And again, thank you for your patience and working with us on everything. So up next, we have Yesenia Ramirez and Cassandra Ross from our DOI Fires program that are going to be talking to you about the application process and how to apply and what to look for. And then from there, we'll move on to Pamela Akers from our National Operations Center, who's going to talk to you about the different federal benefits that are out there for you. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Yesenia.
So my name is Yesenia Ramirez. I'm the lead HR specialist for the DOI Fires program located in Boise, Idaho. Our office recruits for all the temporary seasonal positions, typically entry-level positions for the BLM, along with other agencies within the Department of Interior. So there are typically 3 main appointment types: permanent, which is a permanent full-time position that have no time limit. We also have temporary seasonals, which are positions that have a set time limit. These are typically seasonal full-time positions that do not exceed 1039 hours or 6 months. And we also have career seasonal, which is a full-time position working a minimum of 6 months up to 11.5 months. So in general, all announcements are advertised through USA Jobs. If you don't have an account, we do encourage you to create one, as this is where you will be applying. You can set up alerts to get notified through email when a new job is posted and that matches what you are looking for. To search for positions, you can use keywords like the Department of Interior, Bureau of Land Management, Fire, or wildland firefighter. And for more information, you can please refer to the search tips link in USA Jobs. So to apply for a job, you will want to click on the announcement you are applying for, then click the apply button on the right-hand side of the screen. And this will direct you to the login page and you will continue with the remaining steps. For detailed step-by-step instructions on how to apply, you can visit the DOI Fire's Jobs website, which is www.firejobs.doi.gov. And this website has a lot of other great information, such as how to create a resume, common mistakes when applying, contact information for the different locations, as well as whether housing is available or not for the locations. So a majority of the temporary seasonal fire positions, again, these are entry-level positions. They are open now through March, and there are quite a few positions, depending on the location, that are open later in the year. But right now, it is a big hiring season. So we encourage you to go on to USA Jobs and look at different locations you're interested in. So before you apply, it is very important that you read through the whole announcement so you know exactly what is required for each position. Some key sections you want to pay attention to are the overview section. So this section provides information such as who is eligible to apply, the open and close dates of the announcement, the pay scale, the locations being advertised, and much more. You also want to pay attention to the duties section, which provides a brief overview of the duties for each grade level, and a grade level refers to the pay level of the job. You also want to pay attention to the qualifications section, which specifies what experience, education, and other requirements that are needed to qualify for each grade level. The requirement document section, which specifies what you must include in your application to have a complete application package, as well as it gives you information on what you must include in your resume for it to be considered. And one of the biggest sections you do want to pay attention to is the how to apply section. So federal jobs do have very specific information that is required on their resume, like hours worked per week, to and from dates, duties, and more. Not stating hours worked per week on your resume, it does seem to be one of the biggest reasons people do not qualify. So this is even for entry-level positions. An applicant can have all the experience needed, but if they don't state those hours worked per week on their resume, we just can't count that experience. And this is because we aren't able to calculate the amount of time you work for the position. And this is the same with to and from dates. We just can't calculate how long you worked there. So for the duties, you do want to expand on your duties as much as possible and be as specific as you can. Your resume does not have to be that typical one-page resume. We suggest that you use Resume Builder in USA Jobs, as this will help you include all of the information that is required for your resume. But if you do want to upload a resume, just make sure you're including all of the required information so you can get proper credit for your experience. And I'll turn it to Cassandra for some onboarding.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cassandra Ross. I'm the HR specialist for BLM Alaska, specifically focusing on the recruitment and staffing for all of Alaska Fire Service positions, as well as the BLM HR representative for DOI Fires. So Yesenia did a great job covering everything up until your application. So once you've applied and your application has been submitted, you will receive a notification, a receipt via email from USA Staffing Office at opm.gov. You should expect at least several weeks to pass before you receive an email notification of the results and referral status. If you are referred to a hiring manager, there may be an opportunity to be contacted for an interview, but it is not a guarantee. This can also take several weeks. You will not receive a further update via email unless you are selected after an interview and offered a position. At that time, you will then begin the onboarding process. The onboarding process starts with a tentative offer and ends with you coming on board for your first day of work. The onboarding process includes some of the requirements outlined in the conditions of employment that can be found in the announcement. And for fire positions, this typically means we're completing a drug test, a medical physical exam, and the pre-screening background checks by way of equip that is coordinated through your state human resources office. Once all of those requirements are satisfied, which can take several months, so you might see these announcements coming up now through December, January, but you might not come on board and clear everything and come on at the time that the season begins, which is typically sometime, it varies everywhere, but it could be anywhere from March to May. So once you've satisfied all of those requirements, even if you've done it ahead of time, there will be generally a long period of time that passes before you officially start. And that happens in conjunction with the beginning of the fire season.
So thank you guys for walking us through that application and onboarding process. And now we have Pamela Akers to talk about the federal benefits available to you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited to speak with you today about all of the wonderful benefits that the government has to offer. My name is Pamela Akers. I'm the branch chief for benefits and retirement for the Bureau of Land Management. There are 4 particular things that I want to inform you of today, and that is your health care, part of your retirement benefits, your dental and vision benefits, and also flexible spending account. So we'll start with your health care. Working for the government, you have the ability to enroll in your federal employee health benefits. And the good thing about federal benefits is that not only do you pay your premiums, but the government also pays a portion for you. So the government pays 70% of your healthcare premiums. And federal employees enjoy the widest selection of health plans in the entire country. So you'll definitely find something that fits you and your family. We offer a lot of plans to choose from, and you have the option of speaking with anyone on my staff about enrolling in those plans. But again, for federal health care, the government pays a portion of your premiums, and that's 70%. So that's really good when you work for the government. So the next thing I would like to discuss with you are your dental and vision benefits as well. The government offers supplemental dental and vision coverage, and this is available to all permanent, full, and part-time employees. If you begin as a seasonal or temporary employee, you're not immediately eligible, but once you transfer to a permanent position, then you're eligible to enroll in the federal employees dental and vision program as well. So not only do we offer health care, but we also offer dental and vision. You will have 60 days from the day that you are brought on board with BLM to look over all the plans and decide which one fits you and your family and enroll. So you have a 60-day time frame for that. So the next thing I want to discuss with you is something we call a flexible spending account. A flexible spending account is an employee benefit program that allows you to set aside money on a pre-tax basis for certain healthcare expenses and dependent care expenses. So this really comes into play with dependent care because, as we all know, those costs can get a little high for daycare. If you enroll in the flexible spending account, you can set aside some money to help pay for that dependent care. With an FSA, which is a flexible spending account, you can actually reduce your taxes and get more for your money because you're using pre-tax dollars to enroll in flexible spending. That's something that you would re-enroll in every year. And at any time at the end of the year, if it doesn't work out for you, then you don't have to re-enroll. It's only a year at a time. So that's the flexible spending account. So in the interest of time, the last thing I want to inform you of is part of your retirement plan, which is the thrift saving plan. When you work for the federal government, there are 3 entities that play into the role of your retirement. So that is your FERS retirement, that is Social Security benefits, And then there's the TSP, which is Thrift Savings Plan. When you enroll in the Thrift Savings Plan, you donate a certain percentage of your base pay, and then the government matches you up to 5% of that. For example, let's say you want to contribute 1% of your base pay. The government will contribute 1% as well. And that's just free money for you that rolls into your retirement. So the government matches up to 5% of your base pay. So the TSP, Thrift Savings Plan, is a fund that you are able to control all your own. You have options of moving those funds around, and you also have options of deciding which fund will gain the most interest for you into retirement. So when you retire from the government, you not only have your basic FERS retirement, you also have Social Security benefits, and then you have the Thrift Savings Plan that you have contributed in your entire federal career. So that is the federal health care program. That is the federal dental and vision program. And that is the flexible spending account option that you have, and also the Thrift Savings Plan. If you have any questions, please let us know. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And now I'll turn it over to Vanessa. Thank you.
We do have a couple questions for you guys. So the first question that we have is for you, Yesenia. Folks are out there wondering what the most common entry-level job is within BLM Fire, and if you could answer that kind of from the seasonal perspective.
Thank you, Vanessa. So the entry-level positions typically do start at a GS3 level. So that is your entry-level position that requires only 6 months of general work experience. So that can be any type of work experience. It doesn't have to be specific to fire. You don't have to have federal background. So you typically do want to start at the GS3 or look for those entry-level positions. You can qualify using education as well. So it's experience or education, or a combination of education and experience. And there are all types of crews that are entry level. So you do have your engine, your hand, your Helitack, and other fire positions.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Yesenia, for covering those. The next question that I have, Yesenia, and I think you may have addressed this one, but we are getting it. What is the starting pay for that GS3 position?
So the GS3 pay position does start at $15 per hour. Depending on the location, it can be more. You'll just want to definitely look at your announcement that you're wanting to apply to, the location that you're interested in, but it does start at $15 per hour.
Okay, thank you so much. And the next question that we have, Pamela, and I think you touched on this a little bit, but just want to highlight it, the benefits for seasonal employees versus our permanent and career seasonal employees.
Yes, so for your federal health care benefits, for a temporary, seasonal, or intermittent employee, you become eligible when you are expected to work at least 130 hours per month and 90 days consecutively. Then you become eligible.
Okay, thank you so much, Pamela. And then the last question that we have is the special retirement for firefighters. If you could touch on that for those that go into it, permanent and career seasonals.
The retirement code for firefighters and the amount that you would contribute to your retirement for law enforcement or firefighter is normal cost is 30.1%. So the employee would contribute 4.9%, and then the agency, BLM, contributes the 26.5% for firefighters.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'll just add a couple of things to that too. Our firefighter retirement is special retirement, similar to law enforcement. So our folks can work 20 years or 25 years, depending at the age they start on. So I think that was kind of maybe what some folks were getting at. But with that, thank you very much. And I will turn that back over to Sam.
Again, with our experts from Human Resources and benefits. Thank you all so much for being with us. I do want to quickly share my screen because part of the BLM Fire program, we are so excited to say that we have a brand new launched, revamped job page, something that we're really excited to share with all of you. So want to help you all navigate this a little bit. If you go to nifc.gov, and you click over here to About Us, you're going to learn a little bit about all of our partners. And we've mentioned them a few times, but if you click on the BLM, you can learn all you could possibly want to know about our fire program and all of these positions and programs that our subject matter experts shared today. So I encourage you all to visit nifc.gov and learn a little bit more about our, not only BLM Fire, but our partners. And specific to careers, right here at the top, you'll see the careers drop down. We have a BLM Fire job opportunities page. And specifically on this page, we've had a lot of questions come in the chat wondering where all can I work for the BLM? Can I work in Alaska? Can I work in Eastern states? And you'll see here highlighted some of our locations where our crews are spread out across the United States. Each one of these highlighted states will lead you to the USA Jobs search for that specific state, showing you what job vacancies are currently available for you to apply. So I encourage all of you to visit this BLM Fire job page and not only learn more about everything we talked about today, but also learn more about these crews, what current opportunities there are, and the differences between some of those different positions, whether that be temporary, permanent, and then a number of us have mentioned, Steve was kind enough to put his email and phone number on the screen, but if you are looking for contacts in each of these states, you'll see a contact page here, and this will bring you to a very similar map, but will identify contacts in each of those places to help you navigate the hiring process and walk you through your application. Before we wrap up our webinar, I appreciate all of you and your patience with us and our technology issues and pivoting to send us your questions via social media. Just because this webinar is ending, that doesn't mean your questions have to end. We welcome those anytime, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get to us on our contact page from the website. We want to help you navigate this process and we want to help you achieve. We know that it's important to be persistent. So thank you for your interest today. I do want to turn it over to our Deputy Assistant Director for the BLM Fire Program, Megan Connery, to close us out with a few words.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Connery. I'm the Deputy Assistant Director with BLM's Fire Program. I sit in Boise, Idaho at the National Interagency Fire Center. And I'm so excited that you took time out of your busy day to learn a little bit more about our awesome organization and the career opportunities that we have. Our team of subject matter experts gave you just a very quick overview today, from positions ranging from hand crews to Helitack, our engine staffs to smoke jumping, and some of the other functions that you might not think of when you think of wildland fire, such as dispatch, logistics, timekeeping, and so forth. In this organization, there's something for everyone. Whether you are extremely athletic and getting out and hiking, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you actually prefer to work with information technology. There's something for everybody in our fire program, and we can come together to meet the wildland fire mission across the United States. BLM has offices from Fairbanks to Fargo. Most of our land is centered in the Western United States, but by joining a career in wildland fire, you have an opportunity to travel all over the US, potentially even internationally. Fire offers this opportunity to grow and explore. There's a lot of upward mobility. So by starting off as a career or as a temporary seasonal, maybe it's a summer job for college, maybe it's something else. You might find that this is a path that you can grow into, from that entry level engine crew member to someone sitting in this office and helping manage wildland fire policy and direction for the entire nation. BLM is a small organization that manages 250 million acres of land across the United States. And we do that in conjunction with a bunch of other federal, state, and local partners. Wildland Fire doesn't know any boundaries, and as such, we work together in a very team-oriented environment. This environment is committed to you as employees, growing up, getting training, building skills, and being able to move and experience different career opportunities. I encourage you to consider looking at jobs with us. I definitely encourage anyone at any time to swing by their local BLM office, interact with the professionals there, and learn a little bit more about the opportunities that we can provide. BLM does a lot more than just wildland fire. This is a huge part of our mission, driving change across the landscape. But a lot of our fire employees move on into different roles, whether it be management, wildlife biology, GIS. There are different career opportunities beyond those presented today, and we'd welcome an opportunity to show off what we can provide for you. Hope that you've enjoyed your time today. Again, thanks for hanging in with us while we worked through some technical difficulties. Technology is great, but it's not 100% foolproof. We appreciate your adaptability. We appreciate your interest and hope to see you applying for our jobs soon. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks so much, Megan. I can't thank you all enough for joining us today. We had a wonderful turnout, and I don't think this will be our last webinar. So a huge kudos to our SMEs and leadership. We hope that we will be hearing from you, and we look forward to seeing your applications. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone.